And good morning. Welcome to another edition of Coach's Corner here on the Highliner Activity Network, week number 2. And we kick things off with Highliner volleyball, the only sport that hasn't had a chance to have competition right now. Are the girls chomping at the bit right now?
Yes, we're ready. We did some blocking yesterday. We try to do new things each time at practice,
Right.
and let's work on this skill, and so this next 2-3 days we'll be working more on, okay, which person is best in this rotation, and doing that kind of stuff. So yeah, this has been a lot of practice.
Is this I know once you get into matches is when you really find out what kind of rotation you have, but do you use this preseason, this practice to see kind of what you knew what you had coming back, so there's not a lot of questions that needed to be answered, were they?
Not really. I mean, there's a couple things, like do you run a 5-1, do you run a 6-2, so that changes things around, right? What's best for us? Who's best in the front row if we do have Brain in the front row running a 5-1. So, I mean, there are a lot of different things to try, which is kind of nice, but then sometimes I get a little frustrated being like, okay, what are we doing? Well, you should be ready for anything, right? In case anybody goes down or whatever, hopefully not. But, yeah, exactly. So, no, they've been good.
Kindred will be that first match. And you, again, a lot of new teams this year, but you've seen some of these teams in the past, haven't you?
Yeah.
Like your Oak Groves and teams that are in our region. You obviously Wahpeton.
Yeah.
So you know what you're facing this year.
Yeah, we played Kindred, Oak Grove, obviously Wahpeton last year. Some of them came to our home tournament last year, not necessarily that we played them. But yeah.
What do you expect out of Kindred? What do you know about them that you can prepare for, or because it's the first match, you're not worried so much about what's going on that side of the net?
I'm not really sure, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Probably should go back to some film from last year, but I don't know if that really helps considering.
Right.
I mean, everybody changes where they're going to play and who's coming in and who left, and so I don't know if that would do us any.
It's
good.
more with the questions you have. You're focused on the Highlanders and
Right.
what you guys do on your side of the net and what you have. You can adjust, and that's one thing you probably have with this team is a lot of good volleyball IQs, and they can adjust on the fly, can't they?
Yeah, and athletic too, right?
Yeah.
So they understand sport, they understand defense, they understand offense, being able to see the court on the other side, what's open. So often I can just say, okay, now we're going to block line, they just do it, and they can adjust their defense based off of that. And yeah, they're a smart team.
And once you get started next week, it'll be busy. You've got
Yeah.
Tuesday, Thursday, and then your tournament on Saturday.
Right. Here we go.
Now it's like you wanted to play. Okay, here we go.
I know. It would have been nice to have the tournament a little bit later, not just bang, 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 but
Right.
that's okay.
And I know that Mr. Hunt was still kind of finalizing things, but do you have an idea who's going to be here, or is there still some things that need to be finalized in the next week?
Well, yesterday I think we're kind of close to being finalized. So
Okay.
I'm just putting brackets or pool play in.
Right.
We would like 3 more teams if anybody wants to
There you go.
hop on. So we have 21 right now. So
Okay.
3 pools of 4 and then 3 pools of 3. So it'd be nice to have 6 pools of 4, but
Okay.
we'll see.
North and South Gym, the Hack,
And rec center.
and what? Okay, so you're using a lot. You
Yep.
have to with a big tournament like that.
Yeah.
And how fun is it to get a chance to host a tournament? You see a lot of teams. Your players get to play a lot of volleyball. Tournaments are a good thing to have.
They are, and that's where nothing really counts. So you can try different things. You can just play, and it doesn't really go to it kind of goes to your record, right? But
Right.
not your conference and that kind of thing.
Right,
So
right.
your region.
And you probably see different styles too.
Yes, for sure. Because we have a bunch of Class B teams coming. We have and then from all regions and districts.
Well, it
Yep.
starts with Kindred on Tuesday, and then Central Cass is a home opener a week from today on September 11th, and then again the tournament. So again, like you said, once it gets started, grab hold because
Right.
here we go.
Yeah,
And it's
exactly.
ready to go. And a lot of excitement surrounding this team, and just the whole season. The girls are just excited about getting things rolling, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all are.
And coaching staff definitely.
Yeah.
I know the coaches like to practice, but sometimes you like game situation.
Well, you like game to see what you should practice sometimes.
Right.
Because now I'm like, okay, we need to do this. But then I know last year we played South first. I'm like, whoa, okay, we need to get a little quicker and work on our blocking. And so I've been trying to incorporate that this year, knowing that's where we struggled last year.
Right.
And I mean, the faster you can be, the better you're going to be all around. So.
All right. Well, Coach, we appreciate you stopping by this morning. Your Boza jersey on is Jersey Day because the NFL starts, and I think this is becoming a habit with you now. 2 years in a row, we've had that on opening of the NFL, which is fine. I like consistency, but. Thanks, Coach, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
You bet. Coach Cynthia Clabo joining us from Highlander Volleyball. Back with more Coach's Corner here from the Hack on the Highlander Activity Network. Back here on Coach's Corner on the Highlander Activity Network, Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen is back in purple, and so is Coach Jessica Gregerson. They can't keep those jerseys on the shelves now.
Right.
I mean, everybody's grabbing them so now that he's back in Minnesota. But anyway, enough about the NFL. We got till Monday to worry about the Vikings. But the Valley City Highlander cross country and Coach Jessica Gregerson joining us. And good morning.
Morning.
Jersey Day here at the school. But now let's get to cross country. We've had just a couple of meets.
Yep.
Here, I think we got a chance to talk a little bit about Parkhurst. So now, second meet, did we see some improvement?
Yes. Yeah. We had, so we ran on Thursday at Breckenridge at the golf course there, and it was a pretty hot and muggy day, which can just be a struggle sometimes. The Breckenridge Fire Department set up a cooling tent at the finish line, which was fantastic. But even through that, we had 13 course PRs and overall PRs combined. So,
Wow.
so yeah, they still showed up and did really, really well.
Is that a mental thing with the heat? You got to, or how do you do that as a runner?
Yeah, it's well, some of our kids have been training a lot over the summer. Like your body does get used to it. So you can kind of, your body adapts, but it does have physical effects, especially, it just affects some runners more than others too.
Do you change your style or your technique because of it?
Yeah, especially with some of our runners that I know that it affects. We talked about it ahead of time, like I know you're pushing for, a certain place or a certain time, but you also need to be safe. And if you feel things coming on, you got to do what you got to do. We want to finish on our feet.
So how did we do? Where did the ladies and gentlemen stack up here this past week?
Yeah, they did really well. There's there are Minnesota teams there too, so we weren't just comparing to North Dakota teams. But we had our boys who ran in the 5K. It was Jack, Elijah, Simon, and Adrian, and all four of them set course PRs, and they ran really well together. Like they were packed well together. So I'm really excited to get a fifth onto that boys 5K team and see kind of where we can be as a team with team scores there. So yeah, Jack set his overall PR as well there. And yeah, they ran really, really well. Jack ended up finishing 12th in that boys 5K race, and the others were not too far behind there. So
And probably
really
Jack
good.
too, if you go with Class B, probably was way up there with
Yeah.
the Class B runners.
Yep. It was harder to compare with the Minnesota schools
Yeah,
because
yeah.
there weren't as many North Dakota schools. But yes, he was up there.
But 12th
So, it
overall,
was fun.
that's pretty good.
Yep.
That's pretty good.
Yep.
And you do have a lot of younger runners where you could maybe find that fifth down the line, right?
Yes. Yep. I'm looking hopefully to get Cooper Peterson up into that 5K distance and Carter Coughlin as well into that 5K distance. So we're working that.
Do they have to work up? Because I know it's what, 3,000, 4,000, and then the 5K.
Yep. And we don't want to just toss them in to
Right.
that 5K distance when they're not ready for it yet. So we're gonna a couple of them are gonna run the 4K here tomorrow, and then we're looking next week to maybe push into that 5K.
Okay. How about the girls? How did the girls finish?
Yep, they did really well. Cadence was our top finisher for the girls, and she finished at 17th. And both her and Brenna Storley set their course PRs. So this was Brenna's first meet of the year, and she set an overall PR and a course PR, and so that was really fun to see as well. And then in our 4K distance, Camden, Kapman, and Emma Trapp, they both placed. They got 5th and 6th.
Okay.
And so they are going to be moving into the 5K race tomorrow at
Okay.
Moorhead. And so we're excited to see how they fit in there with our, looking to find our top 5 scorers for girls.
Right.
So, yeah.
And you mentioned tomorrow, it's kind of a big day because I know the colleges are
Yeah.
running at the twilight as well as the high schools, so a big day tomorrow, Moorhead.
Yeah, they have everything from, they have the junior high race, they even fit in an elementary race in there at some point, and then, all the way up to the college race, which is the last one. So we hope to be able to stay and watch some of the college race.
Right.
Because, we have a few runners that are kind of maybe getting the idea of possibly running in college, and so it'll be
Sure.
fun for them to see that.
I know VCSU will be there.
Yeah.
That'll be their first meet of the year. What course are they running on?
It's right around the football field area.
Nemzik, around the Nemzik football
Yep.
field? Okay.
Yep, and then they end, the finish line is on the track.
Okay.
It's kind of fun.
Okay, so no golf course or anything like that.
Right.
So kind of a different type of running experience.
Yep, and they end up doing some loops on the course, so
Okay.
the runners actually, they know a little more what to expect because they're doing the same area maybe 2 or 3 times.
Okay, and I know we're, today's the 4th, still about 2 weeks away from our home meet
Yep.
at Bjornson.
Yep, we're getting there, getting all the planning done, getting things figured out. But we have 32 teams registered at
Okay.
this point, so it's looking like it'll be a really fun race.
And you usually have elementary as well, don't you?
Yep. We invite all of our K-6 elementary program. They're all invited to come run. That's kind of our culminating event for our elementary program. But elementary kids from other schools that are there, they can run too. So yeah.
It's always a fun day. It's always
Yep.
a fun day. Final thoughts. You are got to be pleased with the way they improved from meet 1 to meet 2.
Yes, definitely. Yep. When we were able to get last week a couple really quality workouts in leading up to that meet, and so that means that they weren't completely fresh at Breckenridge either because we had those tough workouts earlier. So it was awesome to see that improvement even with not super fresh legs.
Right. Well, again, baby steps.
Yep.
Especially for the younger kids, no pun intended. Get
Yep.
them, get them ready to move into that top tier.
Yep.
All right, Coach, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Coach
Thank you.
Jessica Gregerson, again, they're going to be in Moorhead tomorrow. Again, college and high school and elementary. It's going to be a busy day up in Moorhead at Alec Nemzik and at the football field for cross country. Joining us with Highlander Cross Country. Back with more Coach's Corner here from the Hack on the Highlander Activity Network. And back here on Coach's Corner on the Highlander Activity Network, and Highlander football is next up on the docket. Last week, a 34-0 defeat to Langdon Area Munich, who now jumped to number 1 in the state after in the new poll, as Velva got beat here last weekend. But Coach Chad Smith and Corbin Powell joining us. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning, Paul.
Chad, we'll start with you. Just again, overall thoughts. I know you and I talked a little bit after the game. Coaches are the hardest people to please, but now you've had a chance to think about it, and your thoughts overall on last week.
You know, we really went back and watched the film together as a coaching staff and as players, and we noticed a lot of, I wouldn't say mental mistakes, but we just didn't line up correctly in a lot of different spots, defensively anyways, and we recognized that right away. We talked about this week, it's more about us than it is anything else. Langdon's a good football team, and they're ranked number 1 in the state for a reason. The quarterback made a great, beautiful throw on that cover 2 look, but at the same time, we don't have a safety that's near the hash and where it's supposed to be, and so it makes the throw a little bit easier when we're not in the spots that we're supposed to be. We didn't tackle very well. I don't know if it's a little bit of the lightning delay put us a little bit off. I mean, I thought personally, as we walked through the locker room getting ready, I thought we were hyped up and ready to go. Maybe we were too juiced up, and then a snap goes over our head on the first play of the game, and that'll take a lot of air out of your sails really quick when you have mistakes like that show up and creep up right away. And so we kind of just talked about it as a coaching staff on what we wanted to try to fix and how do we correct ourselves and really just focus on ourselves more than anything, and kind of just watch some of that game, but throw a lot of it away because it really wasn't who we are, and it wasn't the same type of attacking defense that we saw against Velva. Offensively we moved the ball better, which was good and encouraging to see, but we got to get it in the end zone to finally figure out how to score some points and figure out how that we do those sorts of things. And then we talked as a team together. I kind of brought up the old Clint Eastwood film and talked about the good, the bad, and the ugly. We had some ugly that happened with like a snap, and we had some bad where we were not lined up in spots and we're not doing the things we need to do. But then we had some good, and it looks really good when we do the good things. So we just really talked about how do we eliminate the good, the bad, and the ugly out of it, and make sure that we're just good off of it and be ready for Friday.
Well, Corbin, probably part of the good at the running back spot and kick returner and punter and doing a little bit of everything. Again, first question for you, Corbin, is you stepped into this year as a senior. You realize you probably take a little bit of a leadership role with some of these younger guys. And then you look at, Andrew Zakora gets thrown in there at quarterback. So did you kind of help him a little bit, too, in his first foray behind center?
Yeah, he was struggling a little bit just getting the play in, so I had the wristband and I was helping with that, and then just letting him know on certain plays which way to turn and what's going on, because obviously it's his first week there.
Right. Running behind an offensive line like this, how fun is it if you can find those holes when you got if these guys do what they're supposed to do, right, Coach? If they do what they're supposed to do, finding those holes. This is probably one of the bigger offensive lines you had a chance to run behind, isn't it?
Yeah, when they're working how they should, it's beautiful, I'd say.
Just find that little hole, and is that what kind of a runner you are, though, Corbin? You like to maybe find that, maybe not straight ahead, you're just going to maybe hesitate a little bit. How would you describe yourself as a runner?
I'd say I'm pretty patient, and I wait till the opportunity's there to go.
And then find it and then do what you can and then go. And Coach, too, having someone like a scene with Corbin out there, having him to help some of these younger guys has got to be helpful for you. First, your coach, but you got somebody on the field you kind of trust to help these younger guys.
Yeah, totally. I mean, as we kind of talked about in the last couple of years, or not last couple of years, last couple of games, is we're senior laden, but then we're playing a lot of sophomore kids. So he's really helping and bringing those sophomore kids around and showing them how to read zone runs, gap scheme runs, and where it hits and then when he does find the hole, it does a very good job of exploding through it, like you just said. So where I take more senior leadership out of him is at the linebacker crews, because those guys are the ones that are really, really in charge of running our defense. Between him, Muskie, and McLaughlin,
Caleb,
and Caleb, that they're the ones that really have to set the tone for us. I asked him to make sure that we're hollering out down in distance. There's closing the front, and then the Sam linebacker's got to be able to recognize where multiple receivers are at, get lined up properly, and all sorts of those things. And if they're not set, I think they've kind of found out that they're not set and they're not communicating with everyone and even communicating with the safeties behind them. We're in a world of hurt if we're not doing those things. So I've really relied on them to be able to communicate and be the senior leaders that they need to be.
Do you like getting out there and hitting guys too on the defensive side, Corbin?
I do, but I'm not the best at it. I feel like, I don't know why, I get a little scared sometimes, but
Right.
I just got to go out there. And,
They don't want to get hurt, so
Yeah.
you got to be a little tentative, but put your nose down and just go after it. Now we got Sargent County coming up this week, and to start with you, Coach, what do you know about the Bulldogs?
Yeah, Sargent County's moving up from 9-man to play 11-man. They're 0-2 right now. They're in that transition program like us, where at least they're growing, but the county is getting bigger with a bunch of co-op for them. So, JV went down there this last week, and right now JV for us is a little tough because we have a lot of injuries with our younger kids right now anyway. So we took only 12 guys down there for JV-wise, and had a couple guys get banged up in the game, so they actually finished the game playing 9-man, I guess, in the last quarter and a half. But watching them confirms what you see on film a little bit of what you think you'll get, at least what base concepts you'll get. But, we really talked and focused on we need to make sure that we're in the right positions and focus on us offensively and defensively to be able to execute on Friday night. I think if we do that, we don't find ourselves in a battle-hardened, fourth quarter game. We more would find ourselves in probably a position where we feel much more comfortable in controlling down in distances and putting points on the board for us if we do the things that we need to do.
Something just popped in my head, Corbin, for you from Friday night. You're ready, you're juiced up, you think it's a 7 o'clock kickoff, and then all of a sudden you're saying, well, now maybe 7:30, now maybe 8 o'clock. How tough was that for you as a player to maybe get re-energized after sitting for 2 hours before you finally got a chance to play?
for myself, it wasn't too hard because I'm not the type to be like jumping around. I was just laying low, and then once I know we were going out, that's when I start getting like hyped up and ready to go to play.
As a baseball player, you sat through rain delays, so you're used to that, those getting ready and then having to sit and wait for a little while.
Yeah, for sure.
And did you have to kind of tell the other guys too, or did you worry about?
Yeah, there's a couple of the freshmen near my locker, and I was like, just sit down. It's like they're not even playing, but it's like it gets annoying. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Yeah, they get nervous. They get they want to get out there. Well, now, Coach, what would it mean for this program to get that win on Friday night, get number one? Would it be a confidence builder? Not only that, but now you set yourself up for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we talked about as a coaching staff and as a team that, those were two non-conference games. So does it overall hurt your season going forward? Right now, no. I mean, we've got to handle our business in the conference and be able to take care of Sargent County. And then when we look ahead next week at who we have, obviously as the coaching staff, we don't really look ahead until the next week anyways. But handle our business this week, and we still have all the conference play in front of us. And if we can manage and do those things, we may find ourselves in a playoff position at the end of the year. But we've got to really handle our business right now, and it's got to happen immediately. So I think for us, really eliminate a lot of the mistakes, handle our business this weekend, and not find us in a dogfight of a battle. Sargent County's 0-2, just like we are. So I don't think it's necessarily like a toilet bowl situation for both teams. But we have a lot of talent. We've faced the number one team in the country or in the state, and Velva's just as good too. I know they lost last week, but they're just as dang good too. So. I don't think we're that far off. It may feel like we're far off because we haven't put any points on the board yet, but I really think once things click, all of a sudden you may see an offense explosion out of us once we get the little kinks worked out, which is what we have. So excited about what we got going on.
You'd like
Friday.
to improvement, right? You want to improve from week to week. Did you feel you maybe took a little bit of a step back from week 1 to week 2, maybe on the defensive side?
Mentally wise, yes. Obviously not lining up to where we wanted to be. I wasn't very pleased with that, and so. That's why our focus this week was on us. And I thought Monday's practice, because we practiced Monday and we had a JV game on Tuesday. I thought we took some good strides in practice.
Right.
Because the Tuesday practice or Monday practice of this week was much better than the Tuesday of last week.
Right.
To be quite honest, is if coaches are going to say coaches speak, but I didn't think our Tuesday practice last week was nearly where we should have been or would have liked to have been. So there were signs going into that I wasn't too happy about anyways, and that's my job as a coach to make sure we rectify those situations and we have good practices. And I thought we had a good practice on Monday this week, and then also yesterday's practice was pretty sharp and clean as well. So it was good to see. Didn't see as many of the mistakes or the goofing around. It was the maturity of the team that finally shows up, and now all of a sudden that we can't just be walking lackadaisical practice. Like practice needs to look like what Friday is going to look like as well.
Practice, or was it practice the way you play or play the way you practice or something like that?
Pretty much.
This is the way you think about it. Corbin, the last question for you is what would you say that you need to get a little bit better at? What's one of the area of your offensive game? We'll go to the offensive side. You need to get maybe improve on here in the next couple, 2-3 weeks.
Maybe just being a little more patient and then like going where the play is designed to go. Sometimes it looks like it's closed off, but it would open up if you just get over that way and just be a little more patient.
Okay. What would you say? I'm going to put you on the spot with him sitting right here. Is he right, though? Be a little bit more patient. That's something that would be key for him.
I think it's some things. I think sometimes it's probably recognize the difference between zone and gap scheme. Because gap scheme stuff, you really have to follow your double team down blocks and then trust that the pullers really actually do the job they need to do, where they're kicking out or logging. So if you follow that double team more than you tend to follow the pullers, I think that usually leads you to the whole gap scheme wise than it does anyways. Zone wise, yes, you are being patient, you got to push it, but eventually zone wise, you got to plant the foot and go. Whereas gap scheme, it's a little bit be slower in the backfield, allow things to develop, and then hug your double teams as tight as possible. Then those pullers show up and it allows you to bounce it or take it back on the backside A every now and then. The backside A doesn't show up very often, but most of the time it'll be that front side B to C. And then this week they're playing wider 6 techniques, 9 techniques at the tackle position, if some people see it between the tight end. So I think that gap scheme stuff ends up being inside, whereas we thought Langdon was going to wrong arm everything, so that probably was going to bounce a little bit more often than it was. Right. So, but he's close. This is the difference between learning between just zone scheme all the time to having some gap scheme stuff in the playbook. That makes a little bit of difference.
And they always say get your playmakers the ball as quick as you can.
Exactly.
And that's what your job of your quarterback is get that ball in the hands of your playmakers as soon as you can and let them do their thing. All right, 7 o'clock, Friday night, Hannah Field, Sargent County coming in. Guys, let's get win number 1. I won't be there, so if I'm not there and you win, I'm not coming back. Just FYI.
You're just going to let Joel do it all then?
He's just done.
All right.
I'm done. I'll walk away because I don't want to jinx anything from here on out. So, again, thanks, guys, for stopping by. We'll see you down the road.
Thanks, Paul. Appreciate it.
Corbin Powell, Chad Smith, coach and player from the Highlander football team, back with more and wrap things up here on Coach's Corner on the Highlander Activity Network. Back here on Coach's Corner on the Highlander Activity Network, and just an update on some of the other teams. Valley City Tennis, they picked up a win against Fargo South last week, 6-3. They are home today as they'll be taking on Grand Forks Central today and then Minot tomorrow. So they'll have a busy couple of days for Highlander Tennis. So they've got, a 2-3 record overall, 1-1 in the EDC. So again, a win over Fargo South at Fargo South last week, 6-3. Was the win against the Bruins, and again lost 6-3 to Fargo Shanley. Golf, they are actually at here in town. They'll be teeing off here at 9 o'clock, the girls golf team at Bjornson. And a matter of fact, they were in Colm yesterday, and they're at Bjornson today. Their next 3 meets will all be at Bjornson. On Monday, they have their individual Region 3 qualifier, and then the following Monday, they'll have the Region 3 team qualifier, and all of those are going to be at Bjornson Golf Course. So if you got some time today, head over to Bjornson, watch the Highlander girls golf team, and really having a great season for Coach Tyler Van Bruggen. Talked to him a little bit this week, and he'll be with us for the next 3 weeks. He will be coming in, and we'll have Coach Van Bruggen talking girls golf here in the next 3 Coaches' Corners. So that's going to wrap things up. Just a reminder, Friday, here's what's coming up. Friday night again, Highlander football, as they will take on Sargent County, and that is a 7 o'clock kickoff. My other job now with the Valley City State University as sports information director, I will be busy on Friday night with the Vikings, and they're going to be taking on Montana Western in volleyball. So I will be not be at Hannah Field, but we've got a special guest announcer that's going to be joining us. Coach Chad Smith alluded to it earlier. You may remember Joel Morgan, the former sports director at KOVC, and of course the voice of the Highlanders and Vikings, and has done work with the Your Live event. He is going to be up in the booth, and a little homecoming for Joel Morgan here on Friday night. He'll be calling the game for us on the Highlanders Highlander Activity Network. And so we'll have look forward to that here. And again, if they win, I might have to maybe I'm the problem. I have to decide if I want to come back or not, and see if Joe will just take the last couple of home games. But we'll work on that as we go. But again, Joe Morgan will be sitting up top and doing the play-by-play for you on Friday night. Well, that's going to wrap things up. Again, thanks to Beckett Ness, our camera operator and technical director here today, and our coaches that joined us this morning, Coach Cynthia Clabo, Jessica Gregerson, Chad Smith, and, of course, Corbin Powell from Highlander Football. And as usual, thank you for joining us here for Coach's Corner. We'll be back next week, 7:30, Coach's Corner, and that will also be the morning of our first home volleyball match as the Highlanders will take on Central Cass that night on September 11th. Until then, Paul McDonald saying thanks for joining us. That is Coach's Corner this week on the Highlander Activity Network.